Who's that over here? Gotta look over here. Welcome back to my channel, and in this video, we are going to be talking about our trip to Greece. And we're proof that we did it. And we did it on a relatively low budget. So we'll be getting into all of that, why we selected Greece, where we went in Greece, and a lot more. So stay tuned, lots more coming up. Well, there's a couple factors. The first one is my wife. So Amy has never been to Greece, and she's always wanted to go. Also, she wanted to meet my father's side of the family, so that was another reason. And she also wanted to go island hopping, and I also wanted to go island hopping. I wanted to see my family. I wanted to find new places I haven't been to before. And the Greek islands are absolutely stunning. Yeah, so that's kind of the reason we wanted to go. And somehow we wanted to get some family time in as well as some vacation time. So in the United States, since we don't have a lot of time, we had to be smart with it. So we took a total of 10 days to go there. Also, another tidbit of information that I have to point out is we wanted to go to Greece actually like before the pandemic. And then in 2020, when we started to plan, right around March was when the pandemic hit, and it kind of started looking less and less likely. So we canceled it, and then for sure, everything got frozen and locked down. Couldn't leave the country, couldn't go into new countries. So we kind of put Greece on the back burner. Fast forward to 2023, this was the year we were going to go to Greece. And so we started to look into things. Hi, can I help you? Ellie's here. She didn't go to Greece, but I know she wanted to, and she would have had a really good time swimming in all those beaches we went to. Right? You're very good. Started to plan. We started to think about one hand, we could have went to any island we wanted. We could have left from Athens. Yes, we're going to go in a couple minutes. She wants to go out. It's her time of the day. We were going to leave from Athens on a ferry and then take the ferry over to an island of choice, spend a couple of days, go to a new island, spend a couple more days, and go to a new island. We're going to go to 3 or 4 islands. Well, there's a lot of logistics and planning. If you've never been to Greece, you don't really know the ferry system, you don't know the layout. It just seemed to be too daunting for us. I think I'm going to have to take Ellie out here in a minute. Okay, so the other option was to go on a cruise. So we are huge advocates of cruising. We love cruising. We've been on many cruises with Disney, with Norwegian. We've been on princess cruises. We're not unfamiliar. We love to cruise and we love to go on cruises. And then the cruise industry was opening up in 2023, so we went and we booked it was like a 2-for-1 special on the Norwegian Jade. We booked a New Year's Day 2-for-1 special on Norwegian. They always have a great special New Year's Day. And particularly we chose Norwegian because Norwegian, one, has really friendly staff. Food is, medium, kind of, it's not the best, it's not the worst. It's actually, there were some things were better than others. But overall, we liked the food on Norwegian. Also, another huge kind of buying point for Norwegian is they have what's called freestyle dining. So you kind of just show up at any restaurant you want that is like a main dining room or a buffet, and they'll seat you there. So there's no like set reservation times. The other reason we chose to go on a cruise is so they have an unlimited drink package, and we're not like super like drink every day type people. We do love to have a cocktail. We'll have a couple of cocktails one day, maybe not drink at all, throughout the week. But the key is that you prepay for your gratuities and drinks are free all over the ship. So if you want to have a glass of wine at dinner, if you want to have a nightcap, if you want to have a cold drink when you get back from the port that you're visiting, those are all kind of pluses and you don't have to think about it. So I'm always a big fan of that. Okay, so there are hundreds and hundreds of islands to pick from in Greece. Which islands do you go to, especially when you're going on a cruise? So we had like a list of like 5 or 6 that we absolutely wanted to go to. And some of them cruise ships do not go to, and those are probably the ones that you should go to. But with us, we were taking a cruise, so there was only a limit. Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, Norwegian, Disney, they all go to the islands, but sometimes they only go to the most popular and biggest ports because these ships carry 3 to 5,000 people. So we wanted to go to Kos, Eos, Santorini, Mykonos, Paros, and Naxos were kind of our biggest islands. And so when we started to look, we started to see like, okay, which ones? All right. So the one we chose was, had all of the islands we went to. It had Paros. We wanted to go to Santorini and do the touristy thing. We wanted to go to Mykonos and see all of the big white buildings and the beach bars and all of that. So that kind of played into it. There was a couple, I think there was a Norwegian Viva was going from Turkey to Greece, and it was overpriced. And because it was a new ship, basically, that one kind of was quickly off our list. There was another one from Royal that went to pretty much the same islands, but it didn't go to Paros, and that was one of our big ones. So that's kind of how we chose the Norwegian Jade. There was a late itinerary in September, and it was going to all those islands. Transportation to Greece and in Greece was really kind of all over the place. So when we started to plan our trip to Greece, not only did we want to fly there, but we also wanted to fly direct. We didn't want any stopovers. We wanted a nonstop flight. These days, that's very hard to come by. We ended up finding a flight. I think it was Delta, or was it United? It's either United or Delta. Flew straight into Athens International Airport. There are tons of different places to look for that. You can try to use like points from a credit card, or you can book online on like Expedia, third-party sites, Kayak. There's so many. I mean, there's literally, I can't think of all of them now, but you have tons of options. And then you can also go right to Delta or United and try to book through there and see, because they all kind of get their prices from the same place. And then they have their own deals as well. So we paid under $1,000 for, I think it was like $700 to fly direct. And I think we also, so we flew one way, and then the cruise actually had a 50% off of the return. So we got a little bit of a deal there, flying home. When we were in Greece, we had to get from International Airport in Athens to the village in the middle of Evia in the mountains. And so we had a couple of options there. We could have either taken the train, right? There's a train that goes there, and then you can take a cab from the main island city, Halkida. You can get a train to there, and then you can rent a cab or hire a taxi to take you the rest of the way. But we weren't sure how much that was going to cost. We were also going to rent a car. And from what I hear, it's a nightmare to drive in Athens. So we didn't rent a car. What we ended up doing is we went with a personal driver. And if you do your, pretty much do your research ahead of time, you might find one on Facebook. I'll tell you, ours is, let me see. I think it's like luxury, Greek Escape Luxury Travel. And Dimitri is one of the family members for this business. His car was great. His English was great. He drove very well. So big shout out to Dimitri for taking us. He took a wrong turn. His GPS brought us through the mountains. It was beautifully scenic. He was actually stopping the car to forage for figs and berries, which we thought we would die if we ate, and all different types of fruits. So that was really cool. And we saw part of the island we didn't think we would see, and it took pretty much 3+ hours to get to the village. Turns out he has family on Evia, so it worked out. He could go stay with them for a day and then make his way back to Athens. When we also, so we were doing a 3-day in Evia, then we were going to go to Athens, which I don't recommend renting or any kind of like booking transportation in Athens because one, it has excellent trains. You can take the train metro to all the stops you would really need to go to. But one of my biggest tips when planning a trip to a new destination is it a walkable city? And Athens, 150%. Athens is a city you want to walk around. I would say know which areas are, kind of shady, and don't go to those at night. And if you can avoid them during the day, do that as well. So I know Ammonia is one of those areas that has kind of sketchy druggies on the street, a lot of homeless, and highly don't recommend that. But everywhere else you can walk, and it's very safe, and it's a beautiful city. Highly recommend spending like 3 days in Athens. I think we did 2 days. The way that we travel is chaotic. I mean, I take 2 days and I jam as much as I possibly can. And to this day, we still didn't do everything. We didn't get to do Costa's famous souvlaki. We didn't get to do the market. We didn't get to go to the Varicose market. We didn't find a Uzeria bar. There's more restaurants we could have went to. We didn't eat a whole lot of food in Athens just because we were running. If you've seen my 2-part series on Athens, I'll put a link down below to the entire series that you can watch. But Athens was an epic city. One of my top cities now. Yeah, I mean, there's so many good things to do. You have the Acropolis, and you have the ancient Agora, you have the Roman Agora, you have the library, you have the gates of Athens, the list goes on. The gardens, the gardens of Athens, the souvlaki shops, the Syntagma Square. There's rooftop bars. So much to do. You could really do 3 to 4 days and be comfortable. I would recommend having that time before you go on a cruise, or if you island hop, spend a couple of days in Athens. I think it is excellent. It's where most Greeks live. Most of the Greeks live in Athens or around Athens. It's a major metropolitan city. It's a world-class city. People are fantastic. They're so nice in all of Greece, and especially Athens. People are really, really glad that you're visiting their city, and they're proud of their city. Okay, so obviously we did a huge, basically looked around for, we tried to find all the hotels. So one of the things we did was, and I would recommend doing this as well, go on YouTube and type in what are the best hotels in Athens, and there's going to be tons of videos. And so we watched getting up to booking our hotel. We watched a ton. And if you've seen our hotel, you know that is one of the best locations in all of Athens. If you stay in a hotel in Monastiraki Square, everything is in walking distance, no matter what. You have all of the great shopping, markets, restaurants, all within walking distance. I mean, we didn't take a cab really anywhere. And then when you leave and you go on your cruise or you go to the Port of Athens, the train is right across the street. Phenomenal. Highly recommend Monastiraki Square or a hotel nearby. And our hotel was the A for Athens. It was kind of in the middle. It had an excellent, you could not have a better view. The price was kind of in the middle, so I was able to book it with, they had rooms available. We had a great view. And one thing I'd say negative, it didn't really bother me, but there was guys outside drumming, banging on these drums for like hours on end. And so that kind of was a little bit loud, but it didn't bother me. A for Athens actually includes breakfast. We did not do that. We didn't even try the breakfast, but I believe they had like yogurts and they had fresh fruit and cereal and things like that. Coffee, all upstairs at the bar upstairs. They had a nice spread. We didn't get to do it. I really wish we did. I would go back and stay in that hotel room again. I think Amy has her reservations, but you've seen the room tour. Again, it's in the playlist in the link down below. People were very nice. One thing I have to say is I told the girl I wanted to go to the other entrance, and she said, no, go to the regular go to the entrance. You can walk there from here, and it was not the way to go. Pro tip: don't listen to anybody. If you've done the planning and you know a certain thing, stick with it, 100%. Basically we looked on all the travel sites. We looked at all the hotels. We checked out the videos. We looked at room tours. We looked at photos, and we really liked the A for Athens for its location. We looked at the price was very good. It was clean, and I mean, loved it. Loved that hotel. Okay, this is kind of a handful. When you go on a cruise, you obviously have excursions you can take. We only booked one excursion, and that was with Jillian and Tim, our travel buddy. They came, met us in Athens, and then we went to the cruise together. Shout out to Jillian and Tim. Now, we did whatever we wanted because we didn't choose any specific itineraries on the cruise. We didn't do any excursions. We kind of made it our own. And if you're not really big on planning and you want somebody to take care of it, I would recommend going with Norwegian Excursions. They have a lot of options, but if you want to make it custom and to your own liking, where you don't have to wait for groups, you don't have to wait for a tour guide to do a head count, you can just get off the ship and go. If that's for you, then for this trip, we looked at the top sites, top destinations, and we actually created a spreadsheet. See if I'll try to add video of it into this. But we created a spreadsheet with all different tabs of each site. So Athens, first stop was Rhodes. We went to Bodrum, Turkey. We went to Crete. We went to Mykonos. We went to Paros. We went to Santorini. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did. And then, of course, Athens. I was really excited to actually bring Amy to all these places. I like to check out these like UNESCO World Heritage sites and ancient Greek ruins everywhere in the city. They are so impressive. Hi, Ellie. And by the way, the ancient Agora, it was our first stop. I think Amy and I like that the best out of all of Athens for the different sites. We were there during their heritage days, so a lot of the sites were actually free. So we did have to pay for the museum, the Acropolis Museum. We had to pay money for, but everything else we walked right into. There was no problems. I think the ancient Agora, we paid €10 to get in there, and really liked it. Really liked all the sites in Athens. Looked up all of the famous places. We also watched some videos to see which ones looked the best, and then we put them in our spreadsheet. I added key information like addresses, opening times. Sometimes we added photos if it was something we needed to book a ticket for. We booked our ticket. And also shout out to Sebi the guide. He helped me with some of the questions that I had that I couldn't find online, like why can't I book the Acropolis? Well, turns out it was free that day. So they graded out because you didn't have to pay and you just go there and get a ticket. It's kind of the end of the season, so they open it up for the locals and traveling families to go to. So we watched a lot of videos. So in the one thing we really wanted to do in Rhodes was the floating beds over at some beach. It was Santa Marina Rhodes. That place is amazing. By the way, hey guys, if you're watching this, they were super nice. Food was freaking phenomenal. The service was top notch. The weather couldn't have been better. The water was crystal clear. The music was fantastic. Just the perfect day in Rhodes. And then, of course, we spent most of the day there, and then we went back to the city of Rhodes to experience, and I definitely suggest you don't miss the city. Walk around the city, get lost in the streets, but go to the castle. The castle is fantastic. One of the most stunning castles I've ever been to. Unbelievable. Not to miss. I love that place. And we didn't expect we were going to go there. We knew that it was there. We saw famous people filming, going up the street. We didn't know we were going to go in, but we did. We went in, we hiked up the top of the city, and it was awesome. It was really, really cool. Plus, there's a ton of shopping around there. There's some unique gifts I think you can get in Rhodes inside the city. And, it's a walled castle. So the whole city is surrounded by castle walls from the Roman Empire. Really, really highly recommend that of Rhodes. And then the rest of the places, we got a rental for a dune buggy. Dune buggy was so much fun. If you're going to Greece and you're going to go to Mykonos or Paros, get a dune buggy. We actually got upgraded. We got a dune buggy one day, and then we got a four-wheel, like a quad. And the guy upgraded us to a dune buggy, and I'm glad he did, because it would have been a kind of pain in the neck to use that, and in the heat and all the wind and everything. So, all the food, okay? And I'm talking in the village where my dad is from. I'm talking bakeries. Oh, the bakeries. I'm talking city foods in Athens. Fantastic. Food is amazing in Greece. Food is also super affordable, and some of the best food you will ever have in your entire life. Yeah, it's that good. I'm talking gyros, €4, €3. Souvlaki for €1 or €2, depending on where you are. You get a full stick and a pita. Coffee. Oh, Greek coffee, so good. Get it Metrio with a little bit of sugar, medium sugar. You get yourself a Greek coffee. You get a double Greek coffee. You get a Freddo espresso. God, and Amy loved it so much. You get a Freddo espresso or a Freddo cappuccino. Fantastic. Also, frappes, cold coffee. You get cold brew coffee. They even have coffee shops that have drip coffee, all different beans. You get pressed coffee. You could get siphon. They have a huge coffee culture in Greece. Also, the Instagrammable bars that you go to, definitely recommend those. The food is actually, you would never think. We thought we were just going for the Instagram experience, for all the pictures and the neon signs and the everything. No, the food is really good. And I would recommend going to these highly Instagrammable places, because they are very good. Actually, I don't think we had a bad meal in Greece the whole time. And some of the best food was in the smallest villages. Like, for example, the one we went to in the middle of the mountains in Paros, Lefkis, which was kind of a mistake, but we embraced it and we had a good time. I mean, we sat for a good 45 minutes before we were given our order, and I think the whole experience took about 2 hours. And probably because of the rain, everybody ran in from the rain, and but you would never get that experience unless you were spontaneous. And we literally were like, okay, it's pouring and I'm soaking wet. Let's go to this place that's covered. But they didn't have enough workers, and the old woman that was there, she was going to all different places and not taking people in order that they were sit down. And so, but fabulous meal. I paid way too much money for it because I think I ordered the wrong thing, and the rest is history. But the food is really, really good. And the coffee, I think we had 3 coffee breaks a day. Every time we saw coffee, we were like, let's go. What are some essential items you recommend packing for a trip to Greece? And how do you suggest travelers prepare for weather and activities? Okay, so depending on what time of the year you're going, you have to dress for the weather. So if you go like in the winter, obviously you're going to need a coat. It does get chilly in Greece. Depending on where you go, you're going to need a coat and jeans. But if you're going in the summer clothes, flip-flops, walking shoes, because you're going to be doing a lot of walking. Water shoes, highly recommend water shoes. Some of the rocks, some of the beaches can have a lot of rocks, so that's kind of a challenge right there. You need a charger converter, like a European. It's kind of got the round little hole, 2 of those, so look it up online. I think it's like G or J. Yeah, European. If you go on Amazon, you'll see it. There's tons of them. And Amy and I each had our own, and mine had a bunch of USBs for all the junk that I have to charge. Um, what else? Oh, yeah. So one thing I'd recommend for packing is like a pill box. So I put things like my daily vitamin, Tylenol. I have vitamin D, um, Benadryl for my allergies. I put all of that inside of a small pill box, super organized. Pop that open, take your medications or your vitamins, and uh, it just was super convenient. It had instead of having different like pill cases, having them all in one is really kind of great. So and they have those all online. You can find them online. They're really, really convenient. I didn't even bring. I don't think I brought a jacket. I would bring a mask for the plane. I would be very safe because actually coming off of the plane, I ended up getting COVID. It lasted almost a month. I was very sick. Kind of why the Greece series took a minute to get going. I wasn't able to do any of that. I actually was very, very sick. And then I was working, trying to work through my full time job, trying to work without taking too many days off. And that wiped me out. So after work, I just went to sleep, and it was, Amy had to cook me food, and I had masked and quarantined, and worst sickness I've ever gotten. And I'm okay now, but don't want to get that. So when you're on the plane, take steps to keep your face and your mouth covered. Wash your hands. Don't touch too many things. It's a big spreading ground on the plane. And the sick people around me that were coughing and saying it was allergies. We wanted to find a place that had live Greek music. And we were, to be fair, we were only there for 2 nights, or really, yeah, 2 nights. And we wanted to find a place where you can go find Greek music and dancing, but we weren't able to. I think that the Greek dancing is so simple. People make fun of it because it looks like a lazy dance, but it's communal. So you're dancing with others, your family, your friends, and you're all part of the dance, and you're all one. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about Greek music and dancing is it's kind of a togetherness, and they believe in that. So that's one thing we wanted to do. I also wanted to eat at a seafood place because they are, I mean, Athens is only 20-30 minutes from the ocean, so they're surrounded by great they're surrounded by great seafood. They're right in the Mediterranean. They have fishermen that go out daily and bring fish into Athens. I wanted to eat at like a fish place, but we ended up eating it at the what is the one that we ate at? It was I really liked it. I thought it was fantastic food. But like I said, seafood, I wish I would have able to go and have seafood. Another like kind of attraction I wish I would have went to, we didn't have enough time, was there's two. So the Poseidon, you can take a bus daily from the city. They have a sunset at the Temple of Poseidon, which is on the south part of the peninsula where Athens is. You take a bus, it takes like 30 minutes or so, an hour to get there, and you can watch the sunset over the sea. And Poseidon is quite an impressive god of the sea. So I would love to have been to there. Didn't have enough time. And Delphi, right? Yeah, the was it Delphi that I wanted to go to? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I wanted to go to Delphi, which is probably 2 hours from Athens. It's actually even further than where Halkida and Evia, where we were going there. It was probably another hour and a half from there. Right when we were coming, it is hurricane season in September. It's kind of almost the height of hurricane season. And we were nervous because there was a hurricane coming up the East Coast, and it actually ended up beating us there and didn't have any delays. But we were nervous that we weren't going to make our flight in New York. We thought it would be canceled because of the hurricane. All worked out, and we still made it there as well. That's a hard one. So I'm gonna the worst I would say was probably Crete. We wanted to love Crete. Everybody talked about how great Crete was. It is the largest island in Greece. And so with a large island, you have big cities. And so because we had such big cities, it didn't work out for us. It was just like being in a super busy city. If you watched our video, you know that the cab driver was super rude to us and obnoxious, and we had a place on like our reservation for the car rental was one address, and he insisted to take us to another address. And that was further away and it cost more money and it wasn't where we wanted to go. Even if we were wrong, the taxi driver should take you to where you want to go, right? Like, so if you wanted to go to a restaurant in Times Square and they had the same restaurant in the village and he took you to the village, you'd probably be upset. And so that's kind of why we were upset. And then he spoke Greek, kind of to the guy when we got there, and he said some stuff and laughed. Yeah, he kind of reminded me of the Russian from 2012. He was just so like just larger than life type attitude, and just take us where we want to go. I'm paying for it. Why do I want to go anywhere else? Turns out they had 2 locations, and I think we probably could have rented from the 2 locations. They're the same company, 2 locations. They still gave us our reservation, and everything was fine. But driving in Crete was awful. It was a stinky city. And Heraklion in general is just it's a port city. It's very busy. It's the biggest city on the island. And nothing against the Cretans. The city wasn't for us. And we didn't have a choice. It was a part of the itinerary. So can't love it all. Did love going to the Palace of Knossos. So if you find yourself in Crete, highly recommend checking out these 4,000-year-old ruins from the Minoans. They were early civilization in Greece. A lot of the things that we learned from there are still kind of present day life, but a very, very old civilization and very advanced for the time. I mean, they had amazing cement and they had columns that were not separated. Their columns were one piece. You know, if you go to Athens, like 2,000 years later, they were doing it in chunks, and I think that's why a lot of it fell down, was because earthquakes are pretty prominent in that part of the world. So when it shakes, it shifts. When it shifts, it falls. So still very impressive. Palace of Knossos, amazing. I would even recommend, if you could, getting a tour guide if you have the time. We were on the Amazing Race as usual. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Crete was my least favorite. My favorite, I mean, there's so many, so many. Pretty much everything we did was pretty much my favorite. Paros and Santorini were my favorite islands. Pretty amazing. Paros was so friendly. And just the vibe was like, you're so welcome here. That's just the feeling I got. It was easy to do everything. There was no friction. People were super nice. It was a beautiful island, super clean. I mean, I would stay a month in Paros. And then we saw Naxos from the top of Paros, and Naxos is like the next island over, but I hear that's even better. So we want to go there someday and spend some time. I don't know how to do that because we have such little vacation time, but man, the Greek islands are where they're at. I mean, it makes the Caribbean look like a walk in the park, especially like the mixology. The drinks were stunning, phenomenal. I mean, they didn't have a huge amount of craft beer, but the drinks, like, I'm not a big cocktail fan, but I appreciate them because they're like craft quality cocktails. It's not just sugar juice and liquor. So good. They're all like perfectly balanced, not too sweet, not too boozy, just amazing. And God, that sunset in Santorini, the wine tasting in Santorini, people say not to go there because it gets so crowded. Yeah, don't go there in the summer or the spring, but go there in the shoulder season. Go there in like March or April. Go there in September, October, November. Actually, I think Beth is there now. One of Amy's good friends. They went in the winter. So a lot of stuff's going to be closed in the shoulder season, but you have it all to yourself, which is great. Just being on the caldera, on the volcano, and just looking over. Just want to be back. So cool. Such a great city. Ia, the city of Thera, and the city of Ia, right on the cliff edges. Just phenomenal. And I have to say that's my favorite. And of course, Paros. God, so amazing. That's going to do it for this planning video in Greece. Hopefully you've seen the series. We had such a great time making it. It was an amazing trip to Greece. If you have questions, be sure to comment about it below and we can talk about it. We can answer any questions. We can point you in the right direction. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, hit that thumbs up and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.